Another thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I have a bunch of really fun segments I want to get to before we let you go, but paying homage to your folks. We talked about all the badasses in your family, not just before you, but on the same level, your cousins, the Struggle Jennings, the Shooter, and all of these guys that are just phenomenal, creating their own art, and obviously you guys are all different. What's it like for you trying to pay homage not only to your cousins and stuff, but your dad and your granddad, your grandma, but also formulating your own signature sound as well? There's going to be a tough balance there, right?
Well, as long as you don't try to make it a balance, you know what I mean? You just go out there and be yourself, and God
Great
leads you
answer.
down the
Yeah.
path you want to go down, and it's just going to come naturally. It's going to
Mhm.
come out the way it should,
Right.
and you can't run from who you are, but you also can't, stay right where you are either.
Hmm.
You got to move forward and build on it. And that's what I've always tried to do. And it seems like the last 15 years, no matter what I put out, it's like, you sound just like your grandfather. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to try to not sound like me,
Hmm.
in order to avoid anything like that.
How
You
do you
know what I
feel
mean?
when people say that to you? That you sound just like?
Well,
Do you get tired of hearing that?
Well, I just sound like me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
I've
agree
never,
with
I've
that.
never said, "Hey, I'm waking up this morning. I just want to sound like Waylon Jennings."
Right.
I've never. I love my grandfather's music. I do. You know what I mean? But I've only ever sounded like me, and I don't hear it the way they do. I mean, I can hear little tinges of it here and there, but I've listened to me singing one of his songs and him singing one of his songs, and it doesn't sound all that much alike.
No, I agree.
I mean, it doesn't. But I can see where people could hear that, because I know other artists who have family members who are in the business, and I can hear them, like Thomas Gabriel, a good friend of
Incredible.
mine.
Yeah,
I can hear Johnny Cash in his voice
of course.
a lot, but then again, I can hear Thomas Gabriel in his voice
Yeah,
too.
Jesse Keith Whitley's the same way. Very,
Yeah,
very
just
similar.
with
Yeah,
it. Yep,
yeah,
same thing. Yeah.
yep.
So the thing about it, it's not an us thing. It's the people who are listening thing. You know what I mean? Of course, you're going to hear what you're looking for. If you're looking to hear Waylon Jennings in my voice, you're going to find it every
Yeah, it's a
time.
placebo
You
thing,
know?
right? Like if your name was Way
Yeah.
Smith, they never would hear that probably, right? And I mean the DNA is what it is, but what
Mhm.
you're creating, I imagine you don't think of your, I imagine you don't think of Waylon very often when you're creating your own stuff. Um,
Well, he's been a huge influence of mine.
of
I mean,
course,
let's get
yeah,
that. Let's set that straight. I mean, when
yeah,
it comes to musicians out there, my grandfather is one of my favorites of all time. I
right.
am a huge Waylon fan. Period. And I know this because I can't think of a song of his that I've never heard. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I love my grandfather.
By
I
the
love
way,
him with
my
all my
favorite
heart.
is Revelation, and that's not a hugely known song by Waylon. That's my favorite song.
I actually just heard that today. I
Oh
seen
yeah?
where CJ Garton did a cover of it on TikTok. I think
Oh
I
man, I'll
seen
have
it.
to look that up. Hell yeah, that's a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of his songs. And the thing about it is he not only did his own music, he covered a lot of people's music too. If there was
Of
a
course.
song that was done in the '70s, my grandfather covered it.
Yeah.
It's just that's all there is to it. And I felt like I'm a lot alike with him on that. I mean, I love good music, and when I hear music that I feel like I could sing, I try to. I mean, that's just what I do.
You got to challenge yourself that way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta stay true to who you are. You got to be not afraid of getting outside of the box, and you got to also not listen too much. I mean, take everybody's advice, but don't disregard your own advice.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
And if people like what you do, great. If they don't, maybe they will next time.
Yeah, and understanding that your own opinion should matter the most in your life, right? Like, and for me, I feel that's the way it is. But I think also, kind of in a mental health way, like maybe you feel like you're a little selfish that way if you lean on your own opinion too much. But I don't think it should be that way. I think what I think our own opinions should matter more to us than they do, right?
Well, I think opinions are opinions, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is we really got to understand that this is not our plan, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
It's God's plan. That's all there is to it. I
Good
mean, you
stuff.
can try your best to try to make it your plan, but if the good Lord above don't want it to happen, it ain't going to happen. And
Yeah.
that's just all there is to it. I figured that out, and it took me 44 years to figure it out, but I figured it out. And it's the truth. Anybody out there thinks they're doing something, they're not. If God don't want it done, it won't be done. That's all there is to it.
Well, man, it's good to see your eyes, right? And it's good to see all this joy in your face, man. As tired as I know you probably are, it's good to see. It's refreshing, dude.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. I really do.
Of course, man.